Tuesday's supposed to be a very bad day for Democrats in the elections. Do you have any advice for Democrats in the state of Utah?
Wait, can you run that by me again? You're saying, was today a success? What it accomplished? Oh, well, we were in the car, so I don't know what it accomplished. But I'm sure we probably will find out, right? I mean, we'll know by tonight what it accomplished, wouldn't we?
I think so.
Yeah. So, but it's hard to say right now. We still probably need like an hour.
I hope people had fun.
Yeah.
Another question?
Hello.
Hi, Christian.
The MC there just introduced you as leaders, and I am really interested to know, now that you've had this amazing rally with so many, I think hundreds of thousands of people there, you've fully inserted yourself as players into our civil society. Do you accept that?
I assumed that we were members of our civil society
players,
before this.
Exactly.
Leaders.
But I think everybody's
Leaders.
a player in the civil society. And I don't know about the leaders. I think we led this rally, that's for sure. What goes on beyond that, I don't know.
Okay.
Our
And
intention.
you're sticking to that.
Yeah, that's my story, and I'm
We
sticking
don't.
to it.
We don't. You know, our currency is not this town's currency. We're not running for anything. We don't have a constituency. We do television shows for people who like them, and we just hope that people continue to like them so that Comedy Central can continue to sell beer to young people. And as long as they do that, we're allowed to do our shows. So just to understand, like, we're on the metric system. I understand you guys have, it's all about who's winning and who's losing and the strategy of this and the players and that, but we have TV shows, and we wanted to do a really good show for people that took the time to come out and see us, and I feel like we accomplished it. And I'm really happy with the hard work that both of our shows put in, and the musicians that took their time to come and see us, and the crowd that was so wonderfully supportive of everything that happened.
Question over there.
Hi, I'm Kevin Liptak with CNN. I was wondering what your plans are from here. I don't know if we can say that Sanity was restored entirely today, so where are you going from here? Are you going to plan more rallies?
I'm going to go hug my children.
Yeah. We have a show on Monday,
Yep.
and we got to go write that. And we have a live show Tuesday.
Oh, God.
And normally that would be the hardest thing we do this year.
Yeah.
So we got to go hump for 2 days.
Yep.
After 2 days, maybe after.
We have a
the
Wednesday
election.
show too,
Yeah.
and then a
And then
Thursday
I
show,
think a Thursday show.
and then we have to keep doing them till Thanksgiving.
That's right. And then we get to relax.
Yeah.
For a week.
This young lady over here.
I'm Breen Ali with CQ Roll Call. What advice do you have for
First of all,
citizens?
you should not be able to just make the names up of where you're from. I don't think that's fair.
What advice do you have for citizens who want to get engaged and change their government in a sane way?
I think they should definitely get engaged and change their government the same way.
Absolutely.
I think that sounds smart.
Yeah.
That sounds like a smart thing to do. I'm sorry? How would you do that?
How about just talking?
Yeah, okay.
You don't have to shout. I heard you.
She had a mic.
Another question
That's
right
true.
here.
She had a mic.
That is true.
Hi, I'm Alexis Ohanian from Reddit.com, and I have a
Blogger.
question.
Hi, yeah.
Blogger.
Hey, Reddit.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Pleasure to
Thanks
see
so
you again.
much
Hello.
for getting to $500,000 for Donors Choose. Reddit did a donation push to kind of encourage us to do a rally. And 2 days ago? 2 days ago, you guys have hit $500,000 for Donors Choose,
Wow.
which is incredible. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
indeed. Hey, thank you, Stephen, for inspiring the Reddit community. I am just one of the co-founders, did it with Steve Huffman. I'm just a minion here asking you this. What role did the internet campaign play in convincing you to hold this rally? Don't pander.
Okay.
The internet
I mean,
is-
the truth is, it was really kind of a nice thing that the internet did, but we'd been planning this and the thought of it for a few months prior, and I had made the deposit down on the mall over the summer.
And it was really nice.
It was
It
very
really
nice.
nice when we saw that people were
Right.
sort of urging us to do a rally. We had a conversation. It was like, oh, this is not that crazy of a thing. Our fans see that this might be a natural extension of sort of the work we do already.
Right.
That we had already talked about doing it, but it was just a really nice reinforcement.
It didn't
that-
hurt.
No, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. It was
Yeah.
a really nice sort of validation of what we were thinking about attempting.
Over there.
John, hi. Jim O'Sullivan with the National Journal. You got semi-serious there for 10 or 15 minutes. How did you decide?
Is that allowed?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
How did you decide what you were going to say? That was obviously kind of the core message. How long did you think about it? Was it?
I just, you know, stayed up late last night, and just wrote till I was done, and that was about it. Just wanted to speak a little bit from the heart.
Right up front.
I improvised everything I did. Right at the top. Could I have a suggestion of a location and an occupation?
My name is Rebecca Bauman. I'm
hello.
with the Associated Collegiate Press. You spoke at the rally about the idea of comedians and pundits having boundaries that are established by whomever. Do you really believe on your end that you have boundaries as a comedian or as a performer, as a fake pundit or real pundit that you have to set for yourself? I mean, are there places you're not going to go?
No, the boundaries that we set for ourselves are based on our own sense of human decency, not based on some preordained category of people who are allowed to speak seriously, people who must only speak in jokes or only speak in rhyme. Our shows are just a reflection of our points of view, and I'm not exactly sure why there are lanes.
Lady in the middle, please.
Hi, I'm Tracy Mazza with Extra. Mr. Stewart, just wondering, have you spoken to...
I'm wearing a flannel shirt. It's designed by people
Gap.
who make flannel.
And it's very lovely.
Thank
have
you.
you spoken to Rick Sanchez since the incident?
The incident. You mean
The event.
incident?
Yes. That's what
Yeah, no, he called me a few days later, and we spoke.
And can you tell us what he said?
It was pretty anti-Semitic. It was just vicious, just a lot of that, and I just finally said, like, I get it. No, he was, you know, very kind, and obviously, again, we've all had moments. We've all been in an airport where a person that, under normal circumstances, is fine, who suddenly tells the ticket agent that they're going to strangle them, and it's just human. And he's not a bad guy in any way. I was happy to talk to him.
He has yet to call me.
Gentlemen,
He
over
happens to
here.
like Catholics. That's the only thing.
Joseanne Cummings of Wall Street Journal. Just wanted to know, what was the most difficult part of the entire rally for you guys to pull off?
I think it was him hitting the high note.
I can tell you from my perspective, getting Yusuf, Ozzy, and the OJs and coordinating the timing of not just the music and the stagecraft, but when you're trying to get somebody in from Dubai and another group in from Cleveland, and to get Ozzy in from wherever it
Ozzy's
is
from.
that Ozzy's
Exactly.
from, and get them all together. And one of the nicest things about the event for me was their joy in performing together and in executing sort of, you know, there was a moment where we were in the trailer with the Roots, and I had Yusuf to my left and Ozzy to my right, and I was going, okay, no, Yusuf, and they were going between and I could just see on their faces just the pure, we all felt like 12-year-olds just playing in this little trailer, and it was purely joy, and that to me was the best and the hardest thing to pull off and put together.
Yeah,
But
the
fun.
hardness kind of leads to the joy.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Gentlemen over here, please.
Stephen Markley, Chicago Tribune. You gave a medal to a woman who questioned the president in what you called a sane way.
Mhm.
I'm just curious your own thoughts about the questions you got to ask President Obama, and if you were satisfied with his answers.
Yeah, I thought we had a really nice conversation. I mean, I don't think there's any interview that I've ever done that I don't leave going, I wish I'd done that better. You know, and for instance, you know, I called him dude, and then, but I also, when King Abdullah of Jordan was on, I called him brosif. So it's just something I do. But in the moment, I enjoy conversation, and our interviews are obviously the most erratic portion of our show because those are the most spontaneous and the least structured. but they can also be the most revelatory, and that's why I like them. I think at times it's a high wire act, and at times it works, and times it doesn't. But again, the joy of it is in the trying, and sometimes you get there, sometimes you don't.
Stephen jealous?
Stephen?
Am I jealous of John? Yes.
Ariana?
Ariana.
How many
Huffington.
buses did you end? I felt so bad for you.
Did you drive any of the buses yourself?
I did not, but we did.
Thank you. That's all they have time for. Let's move. Thank you. Really, we have to be fair here.
200 buses, 10,000 people,
Ay,
and
ay, ay.
I want to abandon my journalistic objectivity and neutrality and say that
What?
this was awesome.
Oh, you had a nice
And
time.
It's very
that
nice of you to
I
say.
was moved,
We had
and
a
I have
ball.
a question, don't worry. And I had fun, and so did the 1,000 people who brought and the many people I saw there. And you said something in your final speech, I hope not forever, but for today, about the media being the immune system of our democracy.
Right.
And
Well, that's actually, I mean, credit where credit is due. That's Thomas Jefferson, not me as much.
But you said it today in a way that resonated with people, because I heard a lot of them as we were walking out talking about that. And many of them are members of the media, so they may not say it right now because it would go against the neutrality and objectivity oath that we take when we enter the media. But nevertheless,
Really?
yes. yes. You don't know about it?
Is there
Yes.
blood involved?
I was going to say, is it a blood oath?
Ritual scarification?
Right.
But it really touched a lot of people. And I was talking to journalists who themselves have jobs but are taking second jobs because they're worried they may lose their jobs. So the dark times that you talked us through, resonated with people. So any specifics about where we should be putting the flashlight? I mean, we all have our own ideas, but you
I think we
talked
should put
about
the flashlight under our chins because it makes us look spooky.
And what about you, John? Where should we put the flashlight?
Well, I think again, it's not for me to decide where to put the flashlight. I think the flashlight's probably in the right place. It's a matter of how bright the light is in each area, and using. I think it's all about exercising editorial authority and earning that credibility, and not being afraid to exercise that editorial authority and the moral authority that comes from proving yourself a fair person. That's the only, objectivity doesn't mean a lack of passion and taking a stand, but you have to prove your objectivity through your own experience and action. And that's hard to do, but it's worth it.
Lady in the back.
Hi, I'm Julie from ComedyCentral.com. Any message for the people who weren't able to make it?
I can't believe ComedyCentral.com gave us a gotcha question. They work with us. That is out of line, lady. I would say I completely understand why you couldn't make it, and I hope their decision to put it out there live gave you a chance to watch it, because I hope it was a fun show on TV.
Because it was fun for us to do.
There were 4
really
million
fun.
streams on the internet.
Yeah, see, Tony, I
apparently.
don't know what that means.
That's a lot.
Yes. It's half a
You,
Twitter.
sir.
Right.
How you doing? Mike Madden with Washington City Paper. Do you guys think people should vote? And do you think you should have expressed that message from the stage?
I think people should do what
They want.
what moves them, and that's not my place to make that choice for them. That's theirs.
Young lady.
Lisa Lair from Bloomberg News. You were pretty tough on the news media. How do you see your shows as contributing to the national dialogue in a more productive way?
It's very hard to get a sense of perspective from the outside. We hope that it provides a certain clarity. That's a hard judgment to make. That's for others to decide. But in our minds, it does. But again, that's kind of a difficult one to suggest. Like, we're helping, not hurting. I mean, of course, we feel that way. Everybody thinks they're sane. Hannibal Lecter, I'm sure, walks by salad bars and goes, carrots and tomatoes, boop, boop, So it's hard to know.
Gentleman over here.
Yep. Ken Raposa for Salon.com.
Mm-hmm.
John, how do you think the media is going to treat you and this rally tomorrow and maybe the next few days, if they even treat you at all?
I couldn't
If you could
care.
predict, forecast.
Don't care. just don't care. We're proud of ourselves. We're proud of the show we did. And for us, the success of it was the execution of the idea and the intention. You can't control people's reaction to it.
Sir?
John and Stephen, Ted Johnson from Variety. What's such a fake name?
Welcome to our presser.
What surprised you the most just about the process of putting this on?
That it happened.
Yeah, yeah.
It happened
was
in
a
6
theory
weeks.
6 weeks ago. You know, we had been talking about it since March, but you know, around the time these people started posting, we had made the decision to do it. And the fact that it came together this quickly, the number of scripts we generated, the number of ideas, the number of people we talked to have it all coalesce and to funnel through this 3-hour window, and for it to happen is just an incredible joy. And
As we were doing the other shows, I mean, that it became, you know, we'd had the book out and we were doing our own shows, and it became sort of a Midnight Oil situation where we both kind of talked on the phone and shaped it in our conversations as we went along. And you know, yesterday was a really interesting day because we just got up at 8 and we sat in a room together and we just walked through it, man. And
yeah. We just laid out for each other's offerings, and we shuffled it together and went, okay, this is a
winnowed
show.
it down, and it was a really fun.
For me, one of the
day.
greatest surprises was the joy of seeing the audience out there. Like how
that
many
was
people
weird.
came, and when the Mythbusters got them to all jump at once to create an earthquake, that was right before I got stuffed in the
I love
capsule.
that.
And I stopped in to see that happen, and we'd been talking with Jamie and Adam about something they could do, and they had a bunch of really great ideas. And we said, oh, we'll do what we can to help you, and we'll have fun. We know what to do. We went out there, and right before on stage, I saw the crowd all jump, and this wave just cascade down toward the Washington Monument, and I nearly levitated backstage with joy at how, like, sort of joyful and on a certain level kind of stupid it is to try to create an earthquake.
Right.
And that the audience so clearly were it-getters. They were there to have fun. They were there to play a game along with us. And then we knew, oh, let's just go out there and try to play our game as hard as we can, and hopefully they enjoy our intentions.
Seemed like just a lovely audience experience, and we really enjoyed it. And on the flip side of that was the moment where I was introduced and I walked out and thought, I think we're supposed to do the national anthem before this. And I just turned and looked at somebody and said, did we do the national anthem yet? And they went, I don't think we did.
Yes. And I was stuffed in the capsule right below the stage, and
right,
I
he's in the
turned to my
capsule.
stage manager. He goes, John will just call them out, I'm sure.
So I just walked out and said, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem.
And all of us under the stage had our hats off and our hand. I'm in the capsule with my hand over my chest. Let's do it.
You didn't think the flag uniform did enough?
Wasn't enough, John. Never enough.
All right.
Speaking of the crowd, by the way, the unofficial estimate was over 250,000.
10 million people.
Yep, 10 million
I
people.
can't even believe it.
Gentleman in the front row there.
Hi, Ryan Carney from TBD.com.
Hello.
I've been covering.
Oh, you guys did a funny. Was that you guys that did a funny article about all the hand wringing?
That was me.
Yeah. That was really good.
Great.
Well, I actually want to ask you. Just reading about the rally online, generally positive reaction from the blogosphere, but so-called cultural critics who have this sort of soapbox either in print media or online tended to use it to criticize the rally. And I'm wondering why you think that these folks in particular were the most negative of all responses, frankly, to the rally.
They're broken human beings.
No idea.
No, I have no idea.
No idea.
I mean, it's certainly they're right. It's not, nothing happens anymore in unanimity or any of those things. But it's, again, like, we've been in this business a really long time, and you develop a pretty thick skin as far as criticism or non-criticism or praise, quite frankly. Believe me, that comes with a huge grain of salt as well. And so, I have failed miserably in this business, and I have succeeded at
Yes,
certain
you have.
times as well. Settle down.
Short attention span theater.
Settle down.
The faculty.
All right.
Death to Smoochie.
The list goes on. I know my resume.
All right, we have time for just one more question. Gentleman standing in the back there.
Hi, Nick Zano from TV Squad. A lot of comedians, when you ask them about a serious issue that they've brought up in their comedy, will sort of fall back to, I'm just a comedian, don't take any of this seriously. Considering the scope of what happened today, do you feel personally committed to the message today? And is there something you'll keep doing after this?
I don't think there's anything new about the message.
This
is in keeping with what we always do.
By the way, I don't, when people say I'm a comedian, that's not I'm just a comedian. I'm really proud that I'm a comedian. I think it's hard. I think it's hard to distill your most valued thoughts into comedy and let things that you feel strongly about be the subtext for what you create. But that's not a way of dismissing what you're saying. We stand by the subtext that is everything. I'll defend what we do on the show, and if it turns out to be something that we're wrong about, I'll correct it and say we screwed up. But that's not a dodge. That's pride.
By the way, we screwed up.
I meant I screwed up.
Yes. You have a mouse in your pocket?
Well, folks, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.